Why do you feel as if you are not enough? Well, I think a better question to ask is why do any of us ever feel as if we are not enough? And the answer to that is very simple and straightforward. The reason we feel as if we're not enough is because that's the story we've been telling ourselves for the longest amount of time. Now, I know that sounds real simplified. It sounds like it's something a kid could have written down. Well, to be honest with you, most things in life are that simple. They just might not be easy at first. But I promise you, as you listen to this, you will come to an understanding not only of why you believe you are not enough, but you will also start to see that you are more than enough, regardless of the situation or circumstance that you are confronted with or that you have brought up into your life, that you have attracted into your life. Now, most of us were raised in some sort of situation, some sort of household, some sort of environment that fed us messages of not enoughness. And this may not have been the intention of the individuals that raised you, right? Let's get that set at first. Some people were raised in households where the parents or the guardians, whoever was in charge of their caretaking, truly did look to break down their spirit. They looked to consciously break them down because of their own insecurities being projected out. However, that's not always the case. In some cases, it's because there are unconscious and automated belief systems that people have throughout life. And if they don't do that internal work, if they don't do the work of rewiring their programming, they will carry those into adulthood and they will pass them down to their children and their children's children. And those become those generational curses we sometimes talk about. Now, the thing that I know you're going to come to understand at this very moment in time is the reality that your perception of yourself, your self-identity, your self-image is nothing more than the repeated thoughts you have told yourself and the emotions that you have become accustomed to feeling about yourself. It is who you see yourself as from within. And every single one of us has a self-identity that has been built over life. Few and far between will you see, or the type of individuals who have already done the work, who've already come to a place where they have created their own self-image, right? You'll run into somebody or you might see them in a certain walk of life, right? Let's say the Oprah Winfrey, whoever it is. That's an individual who did not accept the program that they were given in their infancy, did not accept the program they were given as a kid, as an adolescent, and they created their own perception of themselves. They recreated themselves in the image and likeness of their creator. They brought themselves to a place where they started to believe in their potential as opposed to being broken down by their past, by their trauma, by the circumstances of their adolescence. And so for me to come to understand why it is I feel as if I am not enough in certain circumstances, situations, or overall, I must first understand my program. I must first understand what conversations I am having with myself about certain things. So if I had a belief that I'm not good enough to, let's say, make it as a content creator, right? Let's say that was the belief system. That belief had to have come from somewhere far before content creation came up, right? There had to be a belief that was ingrained as a child to say, maybe I don't have the best speaking voice, or I'm not charismatic enough, or certain people are the ones who, gravitate and blow up. You have to have a certain savvy. Whatever the belief is, there is something behind the belief that I'm not going to be X. Now, I don't like to get too deep into using these examples because my belief system is not what I'm speaking on. Like, I completely believe in myself at this point in time, but words do have power and emotion has power. So I'm going to use few examples, but you're still going to come to understand the point, the main point that I'm getting to. So again, let's use the example of, content creator. If I was to dig deeper into that belief, you might see a belief of undeservedness of good things or undeservedness of recognition and attention. That might be the actual underlying belief. It may not just be about being a content creator or, being in a certain industry or a certain space. It has to do with how I see myself, what my concept of myself is, or the identity that I hold. And so if I still cling onto an identity of I don't deserve attention or nobody listens to me, if that is the ingrained belief, if that is the core belief, then it's going to affect every space and place where I am looking to put myself out there, where I'm looking to use my voice and reach the world. And this was something that was actually true for myself. I actually had to start doing the work within the belief of my voice actually matters, right? It didn't matter what other people told me. I had people in my life continuously tell me, you are made for this. Like this, literally, you would dominate in this space. You would be amazing in sales, or you'd be incredible in front of a camera, etc. I was fed these beliefs, and yet there was a stronger belief of, recognition or attention is to be earned through consistently self-sacrificing, which was something that I was also not willing to do. It was a conflict within my character. I was not willing to compromise who I was and compromise my character in order to get attention. And so I had to first acknowledge that belief was there. And again, a belief is nothing more than a thought we repeat time and time again until it manifests into our physical reality. And so we start to see it as a reality because we can see it with our eyes. But the only reason we call it a reality is because we are seeing it. However, all reality only comes from what we consistently focus upon mentally and emotionally. Therefore, every belief turning into circumstance can be changed. We can change our circumstances at any given point in time. Sometimes it does take the work of repetition of new ideas. Now, let me bring it back to the point. So as I was saying, first I had to acknowledge what the actual underlying limiting belief was, the destructive belief that was holding me back from doing what it was I needed to do, or I had the opportunity to do better off, as far as building a career as a content creator. So first and foremost, I had to acknowledge, okay, this belief is there. Secondly, I had to think to myself, or truly analyze, is this something that is true or false? Now, this one is one of the most important steps, yet it's easy to not get through or go through completely. Some individuals will ask themselves a question, is this true? And think to themselves, well, yeah, it is true because this, that, and this and that has shown me that it's true. But I would challenge you to look at the question and even change the core of the question you're asking yourself. So instead of asking yourself, why am I not good enough, right? Or why can I not be X? Ask a question to say, is it true that in order for me to garner attention, in order for me to have a voice in the world, I have to compromise who I am? That's the question. Like that question right there is going to get you 10,000 times further than asking the negative question of why can I not? Because your brain, your subconscious is always going to have to answer the questions you give it. That's just how we're wired. Every question requires an answer. So I had to ask myself the question of, well, is that true? Do I have to sell my soul? Do I have to, compromise who I am, etc.? And I started realizing that there were examples, multitudes of examples of people who did not sell out on their true character, on who they were. The Denzels, the Oprahs, etc., who are who they are, yet they have a huge voice in this world. And so I cannot unsee that truth, that there are examples out there. So the next question might be, well, that's them. They got something special about them, right? And I can really start to break it down if that's the way in which I process. But the easiest way that is, I think, across the board for anybody is once you ask those empowering questions and you get to the truth, and the truth is always going to lead you to, of course you can, and of course there are examples out there, and you are somebody who can as well, you'll start to see that the story of not enough is nothing more than a story. And that's the most important and most crucial aspect of transforming that mindset, is to truly be aware that it is a mindset. It is where your mind has been set as far as programming, as far as conditioning, as far as your childhood experiences go. That's where it's been set. Therefore, it can be reset, and it be set in an intentional way in a place or a space that is empowering towards whatever it is that you're looking to do within your life. Now, this idea may seem complex, some of these kind of more nuanced parts of this kind of transformation, but it's really, really a simple process. Like, it's as simple as this is the belief I hold, which is the thoughts that I've repeated over time. What is the story that I want to believe? What is the new story that I'm looking to base my life upon? And usually it's easy to answer that one when you look at the type of life and experiences you want to have. Like, if you look at what your greater vision is for your life, again, let's say it's to build a business, you want to open a barbershop or a salon, you want to create an e-commerce store, you want to be an actor, a singer, whatever it may be, an author, etc. You can start to break this down as far as what are the beliefs that I have? Because your beliefs are the only thing that stop your actions from aligning. So if my beliefs are, nobody wants to hear me, I don't have a good voice, or I'm not a good writer, whatever the belief is, you can look at it, question if that's true, or if it's beliefs about what you have to do in order to be successful in that space. Question that until you get to the core, which is always going to be that whatever your belief is not based in truth. It may seem like a reality, quote unquote, but that quote unquote reality is nothing more than perception, right? A truth is stable, it is foundational, it is a principle of the universe, it is going nowhere. Quote unquote reality is nothing more than what we perceive, and every person has a different sense of reality. So when you find yourself in this space that you are now acknowledging what the belief is that has been holding you back from doing whatever it is that you truly desire to do, then you look on the other side and say, what is the belief that I want to hold about this thing? What is the new belief system that I'm looking to integrate? And this is where it gets real fun, because you are a creator. You get to create the story in which you're going to live, right? And if you're truly tapped in, you're going to be directly tapped in to what I believe is your purpose here on earth. You're going to start to discover things about yourself that are in direct alignment with whatever your desires are, right? Those righteous desires don't come from nowhere. They come from your creator, right from the source. So therefore, what you're going to start to see is that message of not enoughness, that message of not good enoughness, whether it's business or whether it's relationships, whatever place and space, aspect of your life it is, you're going to start seeing this more clearly than you have in your whole entire life. I am the creator of my story, and all it takes is repeating that story more than the old story. Now, I believe that this is a very simple process, and it can be made very easy when we are willing to make the decision that it matters more to us to transform, that it matters more for us to step into our destiny than to hold on to the past story, than to hold on to the addiction to that old story. Once we make that conscious and intentional decision that it matters to us to move in alignment with our truth, in alignment with our purpose, as opposed to moving in accordance with the old story that was programmed into us, when you make that decision, then things will start to shift, then things will start to change. And you will be as devoted to that as you were to getting your college degree or getting yourself in the trade that you're in, or, getting your kids in a certain situation. Like, whatever it is that you dedicated your whole life to before, you will find yourself dedicating that very same tenacity, and life is going to help you. God is always opening doors. It is just for you to walk through them. And those doors are always going to lead to exactly where you want to be, and greater places, to be honest, because there are things you cannot even fathom, things you cannot even envision that are waiting for you, but you have to step into them by making a conscious decision. And again, this thing of not enoughness is nothing more than a story that holds us back from what we truly are, period. So if you're somebody who is within this journey and you believe that you are ready, like you are truly ready for a transformation as opposed to just information, I've opened up my calendar and I want to set up a day where we can meet up, not in person, don't worry about it, it's going to be a phone call, where I will basically go through a 30-minute consultation. We'll create a strategy for you, see where you are, see if we resonate. And basically, if we align in that call, then we can move forward into true one-on-one coaching. And then from there, you can decide if you want to, end up doing the program that we build out, etc. But for right now, this is the best way I can be of service to you, is to open up my own calendar and truly dig into the nuances of your experience. I appreciate you. Thank you for taking your time to watch this. Much love. Peace.